Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Tim and I today are out playing in the rain. No, actually there's a question that I run into constantly. Constantly, whether it's sent directly to me or I see it on all these homesteading forums. But it's this opportunity. People ask, how do I make money on my homestead so I don't have to go off the homestead for a day job? And I thought, I did a video about this 6 years ago, and that video is absolutely terrible. Terrible. I spent the first 6 or 8 minutes talking about updates before we even got on the subject. So I'd like to take about the first 8 minutes of this video to talk about why that's a bad idea. No. No. What I want to do is I want to take this on one subject at a time, and I'm going to create a playlist. So if you look to the link to the playlist here, once we get it created, then it'll just be ongoing. We'll just create videos that talk about specific subjects. That way it's not this huge, super long video that you have to comb through. We're going to take it subject at a time. And the idea behind this is advice that I give from a marketing perspective and from a small business owner perspective, is diversify your income streams. If you've got one thing and that's what allows you to stay at home and work and not have to go into a day job, that's great. But if that one thing, something changes, then you could lose that. So if you have diversification, then you can handle change. So in today's video, I want to talk about personalized craft items. So if you followed our channel at all, you know that we have at our resource, at our disposal, we have access to a lot of wood, a sawmill, and a wood shop. And so we can make a lot of wood products. This is a cutting board that my son made the other day. So we have access to that type of stuff. And that can be a nice little side item, a little bit of side revenue to sell these crafts at craft shows and fairs. Maybe if you want to build a website, you can sell them online. And those can produce some revenue. But you have to go up against this challenge of, is somebody buying a cutting board because they need a cutting board or because they want to support your business? So if somebody's just wanting a cutting board, then of course you got to go up against all these imports, the big box stores that sell cutting board. Cutting board is a cutting board is a cutting board, right? But if you can value add this cutting board by making it personalized and even customized personalized, then you open up a whole new market there. Now, personalized crafts are nothing new. It's been around ever since somebody drug out some stencil. But with the new technology that's out and the price of that technology coming down, you can really broaden your options and come up with infinite ideas when it comes to customization. So today specifically, I want to talk about laser engraving. So a company by the name of Longer sent me their Ray5, which is a 10-watt laser engraver to try out because they knew I had a wood shop and then I made wood products. So I thought, hey, this may be a good thing to add to your arsenal so you can take those wood products up a notch. So this 10-watt laser engraver allows you to do, like you say, you can engrave, so you're actually burning on the surface. And I'm going to use it primarily for wood, but you can use it on all kinds of materials, stainless steel, different metals, various plastics. Obviously you need to stay away from PVC and that type of stuff because of the fumes. But it allows you to personalize a lot of things. But also the laser engraver can cut, especially when we're dealing with wood or lighter materials. You can actually cut out shapes. And the combination of those, shape cutting and design on those pieces, again, can really open the door for any customization you want. So this Longer unit, the Ray5, is currently less than $500. That's less than half the price of my table saw. That's actually like a third of the price of my table saw. So when you look at it from the perspective of woodworking equipment, this really isn't that expensive a tool to add to the workshop. So what I like about this Longer Ray5 unit is it's got a 400 by 400 meter work surface. So that's pretty good size for an entry-level laser engraver. It also has its own display and console, so you don't have to have a PC hooked up to it all the time, or a Mac. I use a Mac. You don't have to have that hooked up all the time. It also has the opportunity to take a micro SD, so you can even put your designs on that and drop it in. So the good thing about that is if I was to have this laser engraver, we're probably going to set it up in the wood shop. I don't have to leave my computer down there because I don't want my computer getting all dusty. So I can copy my files over to an SD card, take the SD card down, and then be able to use it. It also has Wi-Fi capability, so you can actually control and manage the working of the laser engraver via the Wi-Fi connection and send your artwork that way. So you don't even have to mess with using those hard forms of transporting your files. So with these laser engravers, The software is super inexpensive as well. There's some free versions out there, but everybody uses the software. I say everybody, but most people use the Lightburn software, which is what we've been using. You get a 30-day free trial, but it's only $60 to buy the full package. So the software in any computer, that software is simple enough that you don't have to have the latest and greatest computer. If you've got a 5-year-old, 10-year-old PC or an old Mac, it'll be able to take care of it. So there's not a whole lot of expense going into this. You can look and say, well, so you've got the laser engraver, the software, and maybe even go out and buy a brand new PC laptop for 400 bucks. You know, you're right around $1,000 or less to get started in something like this. Now you may be saying right now, well, wait a minute, Troy, I don't have a big wood shop with all these tools, so how can I do personalized crafts? Or you could say, well, I'm not even crafty. In fact, the last time I tried to do crafts, I ended up hot gluing my fingers together and stapled my head to the work table. Well, I could say, okay, if it's that bad, then take that little craft hammer, pick it up by the handle, and crack yourself right between the eyes, because clearly you're a moron. Or I could be much more creative and say, well, these are skills you need to learn. It's not that big a deal. Start with the basics. So instead of trying to make something from scratch, maybe go out and purchase something already made and then give it that personalized touch. So for example, let's say I went out to Home Goods and for less than $5, I bought a collection of bamboo wooden spoons and sporks and spatulas and all that kind of stuff. They're just plain Jane, right? So there's nothing on them. But with the magic of a laser engraver, look what I can do to personalize this. So here, this simple run-of-the-mill spoon now has a personalized message on it. Oh, isn't that sweet? It's like love around here. Actually, if I flip it over, this is really what it's all about. So the point is, you can take store-bought items with a little bit of creativity and ability to learn the software, which there's tons and tons of tutorials out there, then you can personalize stuff that you haven't even created yourself. You can just start with something, just the raw material. So for example, we're playing around with little red tool house tags. I got to do some work because I burned right through it. Actually burned a hole in my table too. But taking just a piece of plywood and putting your design and shape in there. And yeah, this could be a keychain, this could be an ornament, this could be whatever. So Cam and I have had a blast experimenting with this so far. We've only had it a couple weeks, so we're still playing with it and really enjoying the things we're making with it, but just the fun of he and I trying to figure it out and that time we're spending together. Been playing around with some logos here and stuff, and learning the details. So what's the practical application of this? How do you use a laser engraver to make money on your homestead? Well, as I mentioned, whether you're an accomplished woodworker or an aspiring woodworker or you're not very crafty at all, there's different levels that you can do to utilize a piece of equipment like this to make custom things. It's really about your creativity more so than it is the actual item. And also just kind of seeing what the market will bear in your area. What are they interested in? Is country, rustic type stuff popular in your area? It seems like it's popular everywhere else. But like right now, live edge stuff is all the rage. So making a simple breadboard with a live edge out of a piece of white oak, something that simple can raise the value of a piece of wood and be very personalized. So think about it with creativity. You personalize logos, farm names, last names of families to say, hey, the McClung family, that type of thing. Anniversary dates, birth dates, newborn babies' names, all that type of stuff. So you're really only limited by your imagination and, of course, your audience. You've got to find a way to get that out there. So whether you're doing craft fairs, Facebook, roadside stands, whatever the case may be, or you even try to do wholesale with maybe a local craft. This could be a wider range of products you've added to their resources in that store. So this specific laser engraver, there's obviously tons of them out there, but this specific laser engraver is a good entry-level engraver. And you may say, well, that's not going to allow me to do a whole bunch of stuff that I think we'd need to do if I got into this type of craft business. Well, my advice is start somewhere. You got to start small. So start with an entry-level machine, like the longer, and as you make money off that, squirrel away some of that money so you can upgrade. Longer makes more powerful units. There's other units out there as well. But you've got options to upgrade as you make that income. So let the income generate your upgrade versus going out and going into a ton of debt and a ton of money. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is not a magic wand. This is not a goose that lays the golden egg. This should be one of many resources that you offer through your homestead to provide income. That way, if the market for these type of goods, which something like this would be more popular around Christmas time, you maybe have that bell curve of activity around the fourth quarter of the year, but maybe first and second quarter it's kind of low and not really doing. So you want something else to be able to produce that income. So diversify your income streams. So I'm going to leave some information below about this longer machine. Obviously they sent it to us, so there's some offer codes that go along with it. Like I said, Campbell and I have been using it for multiple weeks now, and we've had fun with it. There was a small issue with the flame sensor, so it has this safety device on it that if the product catches fire, then of course it shuts down. And that was too sensitive. It was triggering on a regular basis, and then we discovered the issue was we like to work in our garage with the garage doors up. So as the sun sets over here, so as the sun was getting lower in the sky, it was bouncing. It was bouncing right into that flame sensor and was causing an issue. So simple, easy to either close the garage doors or turn the unit 180 degrees, and it took care of it. But as I mentioned, there's tons of tutorials on YouTube. That's not what we're going to do here. We're not doing a tutorial on how to use it. We're just making that a suggestion as a source of income on your homestead. So maybe you don't have to go off farm to have a day job at some point. All right, well, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Shoot holes in this theory. But as I mentioned, we're going to keep adding new videos to this playlist as we run into these options and these ideas, and we'll just share them. All right, take care, everybody.